Hello and welcome to Sarat Chandra IAS Academy, where your dreams are our mission. This is Yatharth here, and today we'll be talking about types of bodies in India, bodies or institutions. This is a topic from Polity, and every year one question almost comes from here or is asked from here. So in this video, we'll cover all important bodies, prelims questioned for this year, 2023. As well as I'll be sending the notes on the Telegram channel from this PDF. So first of all, let's see what was the question. That consider the following organizations or bodies in India: the National Commission for Backward Classes, the National Human Rights Commission, the National Law Commission, the National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission. And the UPSC asked how many of the above are constitutional bodies. So the question is directly asking you to check from a list of the constitutional bodies. So it expects you to remember this list, first of all. And check whether how many of these bodies are from this list. Alright, so we'll start this topic. First of all, let us define a body. So this is a human body, let's say. So a human body or any body has two things. One is a definitive structure, and the second thing is function. In the similar way, any organization or body of the state or the government has two things. One is structure and one is function. Structure means what it will be composed of. Let's say it has a head, it is a chairman, there are members. Alright, there is such and such organization. And what is its function? That means what are its powers? What are its authorities? What is supposed to do? And how it is supposed to do that procedure. Alright, so this all must be given somewhere. Okay, let's talk about UPSC for an example. So it is a body. It has a building and various offices. That is its structure, infrastructure, let's say. It has chairman. It has members. It has people working for it, employees. Alright, and it has function. So various different function it has. Alright, so let's see further about type of bodies in India. So there are two types of bodies in India. One are constitutional and the second one are extra constitutional or non-constitutional. But please remember, they should not be called unconstitutional. Unconstitutional means which goes against the constitution. Which goes against the constitution. So they are not unconstitutional. You may call them non-constitutional, but it is better to call them extra constitutional. Let us now come to the constitutional bodies. So in India, a constitutional body is a body or institution established by the Constitution of the India. That means it finds mention in the Constitution of India. Now it is not important whether the constitution we are talking about. I hope you remember in the last lecture we discussed the constitution is very dynamic. We talked about the constitutional amendments also. So it does not matter whether the amendment has been made in 2023 and a body is inserted into the constitutional text. It is still a constitutional body. Alright, so we are not talking about the constitution that was made in 1950 or any other year. We are talking about the present day constitution. So many constitutional bodies have been recently formed. Okay, so they can only be created or changed by passing a constitutional amendment bill rather than an act of parliament. Alright, So they cannot be directly created or changed. First, a bill must be passed in order for them to be created or function, and then only further things can take place. Okay, the member of the Constitution Assembly of India recognized the need for independent institutions which can regulate sectors of national importance without any executive interference. So this is the main function of a constitutional body, that without any executive interference. As such, they introduced constitutional provisions paving the way for creation of constitutional bodies. A classic example of a constitutional body is Election Commission, which is created to conduct and regulate the national and state elections in India. A constitutional body has either complete independence or functional independence when discharging their constitutional obligations. In India, typically members of such constitutional bodies can only be removed by a two-third majority vote in both houses of parliament. So, just to see what are the characteristics of a constitutional bodies. So, one characteristic is it's rather independent. One thing is this. Second, it's more permanent, because it becomes a part of the constitution and it's very hard to change or alter it, and it's hard to dissolve or remove the members of constitutional body. Okay, so anything more independent and permanent in nature can be a constitutional body or should be made a constitutional body. Okay, let's move ahead. So this is the list of constitutional bodies. Just a second. Okay, so Attorney General of India, all right, this is a constitutional body. Comptroller and Auditor General of India, this is a constitutional body. Advocate General of the State, this is a constitutional body. State Finance Commission, constitutional body again. State Election Commission, District Planning Committee, Metropolitan Planning Committee, Interstate Council, Finance Commission. This is very important. We recently had a discussion about the 15th Finance Commission, and the 16th Finance Commission is in formation. All right. Okay. These don't matter anything. Please don't pay attention to them. They're just for developing an interest in the lecture. All right. Okay, this one I will use. So Finance Commission, we have already covered. GST Council, this one is important, very recently formed. UPSC and SPSC. Election Commission of India, National Commission of SC, ST and backward classes. This is in question. For Scheduled Areas and Scheduled Tribe Commission, Backward Classes Commission, Official Language Commission and Official Language Committee of Parliament, a Special Officer for Linguistic Minorities. Okay. So do we see any Human Rights Commission here? No. All right. So extra constitutional bodies, let's see. Okay, so these are the bodies which do not find mention in the constitution. They are made by any act of parliament. So they can be statutory bodies or non-statutory bodies. Statutory bodies are again of two types. One are regulatory body, other are quasi-judicial bodies. Okay, so based on how the body derives its powers, non-constitutional bodies can be broadly classified into two classes: statutory bodies and non-statutory bodies. The statutory bodies get their power from a statute, i.e. an act, that is an act enacted by the legislature. So basically statutory bodies, or you can say act-based bodies. So first of all, an act is formed, that there will be a body which will do this function. Okay, so National Investigation Agency NIA, National Human Rights Commission, Lokpal and Lokayukta. Non-statutory bodies, so they get power from an executive order such as Niti Aayog, National Development Council, etc. Statutory bodies can be further classified into two classes based on their roles and responsibilities. They are regulatory bodies or quasi-judicial bodies. A regulatory body is a government agency that is accountable for exercising autonomous authority over some area of human activity in a regulatory or supervisory capacity. However, their regulatory interventions are outside executive observance, such as Biodiversity Authority of India, Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority, PFRDA. Now let's come to the quasi-judicial bodies. Quasi means semi. And judicial means they are not part of the judiciary, but they are semi-judicial. So they are like commissions or tribunals which can interpret the law. They are different from judicial bodies that their field is limited compared to a court, such as NGT, National Green Tribunal 2010, Human Rights Commission, Central Information Commission, that is CIC. Note is that one statutory body can be both regulatory as well as quasi-judicial, such as RBI or SEBI, etc. So is RBI a quasi-judicial body? Yes. Is it a regulatory body? Yes. Is it a statutory body? Yes. It is a constitutional body? No. Okay, so this is the list of the quasi-judicial bodies or non-constitutional bodies, such as Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, National Investigation Agency, NIA, FCI, which is Food Corporation of India, the Competition Commission of India, this is very important, CCI, Law Commission of India, this is again very important. Whenever there is a commission or tribunal, mostly it is a semi-judicial body. Central Vigilance Commission, CVC, it's again very important. Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, very important. National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, NABARD. National Human Rights Commission, NHRC. Defense Research and Developmental Organization, DRDO. Lokpal and Lok Ayukta. ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, Niti Aayog. National Institution for Transforming India. Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, FSSAI, it's different from FCI. National Green Tribunal, NGT, this is again very important. CBI, Central Bureau of Investigation, this is much in current affairs because of its powers and many states denying consent for a CBI order. So please see what are the conditions on which CBI is anyway allowed in a state despite the consent or non-consent of the state. Reserve Bank of India, RBI, always in the news. Indian economy is dependent on RBI. Financial Stability and Developmental Councils. This is a list of non-constitutional bodies. So let's now come back to the question and first solve it. Okay, so the question was, how many of these are constitutional bodies? So it gave us a few options: the National Commission for Backward Classes, the National Human Rights Commission, the National Law Commission, okay, the National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission. So it is very clear. Let us see about these two bodies and we'll revise the list. The National Law Commission and National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. Okay. So we come to the constitutional bodies. Let's see these again once. Attorney General. I'll be telling about all these bodies one by one in the next lecture. C&AG, Advocate General, State Finance Commission, State Election Commission, District Planning Commission, Metropolitan, Inter-State Council, Finance Commission. Finance Commission we have already seen, GST, UPSC and State Public Commission, Election Commission, SC, ST and Backward Commission. These three you can remember together, and Scheduled Areas and Scheduled Tribe Commission. Backward Classes Commission, this can come with here on, we can group this. Official Language Commission for Official Language and Linguistic Minorities. Okay, so National Law Commission is not in this, so we can remove it. Okay, now let's come to the National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. This is also not a constitutional body. Let's try to find it in the list of non-constitutional bodies. Okay, so we came through CSIR, NIA, FCI, CCI, Law Commission. Here we can see the option. CVC, SEBI and NABARD. Then we found the NHRC, DRDO, Lokayukt, ISRO, Transforming India, Food Safety, FSSAI, Green Tribunal, CBI, Reserve Bank and Financial Stability and Developmental Council. So we don't even find it in the non-constitutional bodies. Okay, so it's neither. So this also we can remove. So only one is the answer here. Just a second. Okay, so answer is only one of these bodies is constitutional bodies. Alright, so let's finish this lecture now. Coming to the conclusion. One thing that we covered in this lecture is what are bodies and the types of bodies, both consti and non-consti. Non-consti is also very important, statutory and non-statutory. Statutory again of two types, regulatory and quasi-judicial. Just a second. Regulatory and quasi-judicial. All right, so this is what's important in here. When you are making notes from this lecture, let's say, I'll be providing the notes myself. Just a second. So whenever you are making notes or whenever you encounter any body, be it let's say NGT, then you must know that NGT is a statutory. When what is formed, 2010 let's say, and it's quasi-judicial body. If you are in hurry, let's say when you are revising, then just remember the constitutional bodies. These are only a few and you can very easily remember these. And how to remember these? What is the easiest way to remember these? So there are, you can see 3-4 categories. I'll match them for you. Just a second. So when you come to the list of constitutional bodies, like here, I'll highlight for you. Just a second. Okay, so we'll provide various different stamps for different type of bodies. All right. So let's see the red ones. So Attorney General of India. This is post type, constitutional post type. Comptroller and Auditor General. Advocate General of India. State Finance Commission and State Election Commission. We'll put these one later on. Okay, so these one, let's say I'm putting in the green. State Finance Commission, State Election Commission, and District Planning Committee and Metropolitan Planning Committee. All right, these ones you can change. Group, Interstate Council and Finance Commission. Okay. GST Council. Just a second. These are the. Just a second. Let me. Okay. Okay. So GST Council, UPSC and State Commission and Election Commission. Now these ones you can group together again. Just a second. Okay. So National Commission of Scheduled Caste, Scheduled Tribe, Backward Classes and Backward Classes Commission, and Scheduled Tribe Commission. This one, Scheduled Area and Scheduled Tribe Commission. Furthermore, you can group this one also, the Language Committee and Linguistic Minorities. So this is how you can group the bodies. There are only a few and you can remember that easily. Now, you don't need to actually remember the non-constitutional bodies, but you can still remember them. There are only a few also. CSIR, NABARD, FCCI, CVC, SEBI. Okay, so they are very easy to remember. So just remember one thing, whenever you encounter a body or any organization, you should mention in your notes whether it's a constitutional body, non-constitutional body, or not any of these. All right, and non-constitutional, then what kind of statutory or non-statutory or quasi-judicial or regulatory. So please remember this. One question you will find in the exam related to this. In the next lecture, we'll be dealing with the constitutional bodies. One by one, we'll read about them. Okay, and we'll also read about the non-constitutional bodies in a little brief. So in these 3 lectures, 3 or 4 lectures, I believe, you'll be able to finish this topic completely and have a good knowledge of all these bodies and what their function and organization is. So this will help you a lot in the polity. All right, so I'm signing off. Thank you very much for this engagement. And I hope you have a bright day. Keep studying and keep going.